Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of the Geek Press Podcast. Today, Noah and Lewis talk about the film Oppenheimer, spoiler free, and get into what they really enjoyed that came out of San Diego Comic Con 2023 this year. If you enjoy what you're listening to, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and follow us across the social media. Sorry, this one's a little late this week, folks. Have a great day.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, ladies and gnomes. My name's Luis Gutierrez, and welcome to episode 57 of the Geek Press Podcast. Today, we are joined by a fabulous co-host. You know them, you love them, and they are no one other than Paul Rudd. Mr. Rudd, how you doing?
Hey, how's it going, Lewis?
You know, I heard you're doing a movie now with Jenna Ortega where you guys run over a unicorn. How's that going to be going? You know?
Oh, it's really great because we actually talked to some scientists and they brought a unicorn to life just so we could kill it.
Nice. And I know, like, right now everything's going down with the writers' strike and
Mhm.
SAG-AFTRA. How you guys obviously got approved for this, but how was that like? You know, just like to do a whole on production in the middle of this protest, if you will.
Yeah, like after I saw the life leave from that unicorn's eyes, I didn't realize we had four more because we had to do four more takes. So I had to kill four more unicorns, and it was pretty crazy. I'm sorry, what was your question?
No, keep going about how you enjoy killing unicorns.
I don't. This bit is running dry. There's nowhere for it to go. Hello, everyone. I'm Noah. Each week, I'm subjected to do improvisational celebrity impressions. And this time, I think it went okay. I'm getting. I may not be getting better at impressions, but I'm getting better at improving these like quick little bits.
You're a
So
DM. You're
hello.
supposed to be good at improv and quick bits.
I'm caught off guard. But hello, welcome to the Geek Press Podcast, where we talk about stuff. I guess that's like appropriate because sometimes we'll be like pop culture, oh movie, oh the rights of writers, and
Or sometimes we just go hella political.
yeah. So hello, welcome. How are you, Lewis? What have you been listening to? What you been up to? What's going on with you?
So this was another week of me not having enough work to do.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that was just one of those things where I was like, "Fucking Christ," you know. But
Mm-hmm.
it's not all too bad. Just because there wasn't enough news stories going around doesn't mean like there's not going to be work for me for the foreseeable future. Just because
Mm-hmm.
I had IGN contact me and they were like, "Hey, we give us a list of games you want to work on for guides." And the shitty part about it is I make a point not to do open world games because they can take so long. And majority of the games coming out from now to the end of the year are open world games. So I'm gonna be
Mm-hmm.
working on at least like one or two open world games, but I sent them the list of games I want to work on, so that was cool. And then yeah, but it was just it was just another one of those weeks where I'm like, fuck, I'm just pinching pennies, you know. But I have some work lined up from other companies that I'm not really gonna talk about as of yet. But yeah, that was it. And I finished. I've been on the side. I've been watching some anime. I don't think I talked about it last podcast, but I was watching a Record of Ragnarok. It's a pretty like season one was okay. I felt like season two was way better. It's a
Mm-hmm.
Netflix anime, and the whole premise is that all the gods live together in like heaven or whatever you want to call it. You know, from every like mythos, every religion, all of them are all kicking it together. You got Ares hanging out with Buddha. You got Buddha hanging out with I can't think of any other ones right at the moment, but you got them all. You know, they're all kind of chilling
Mm-hmm.
together. And the whole premise of this show is that the gods have decided, okay, humans are done. We're gonna go wipe them out. We're gonna kill them all.
About time.
And so there's Valkyries. There's like 7 or 12 Valkyries, and then they're like, no, the head Valkyrie's like, no, you're not gonna do that. We're gonna start Ragnarok, and their version of Ragnarok is when it's a tournament held. So the humans go in a one-on-one death match with the gods, and
Mm-hmm.
for the entire show, the reason why the humans are able to stand their own is because the Valkyries merge with the humans, and
Mm-hmm.
because of that, they temporarily give them the strength of the gods. and they're able to go tit for tap, like killing them. So it's just
Mhm.
it's this show where it's them fighting each other, but like only maybe like 10 to 15 minutes of it is actually them fighting. One fight will take like 4 episodes because they
Mhm.
explain their backstory for like each character gets their own episode explaining their backstory, and then they get their own episode explaining why they're fighting. So once you kind of get past that, it's a really good show. And I finished season 2, and I was like, shit, this is really good. And then on top of that, I started watching this new anime. I've been on an anime thing as of late. I started watching the show called Vinland Saga. It's another
Mhm.
Netflix anime, and my girlfriend had always told me, she was like, "Hey, you would like this show." I'm like, okay, that's really all I knew about it. That and that IGN gave the newest season like a 10 out of 10. So I was like,
Mhm.
okay, it's a really popular anime. I'll give it a shot. And when you watch animes, you kind of expect them to be like fantasy. You don't really expect them to be based in reality. But I'm only on episode 2, so I can't really speak for the rest of the show. But it's episode 1 is very based in like reality. It was
Mhm.
talking about like how the Vikings came to Norway and a lot of people fled to like Greenland and Iceland, and it deals with
Mhm.
like slavery, like being who you are as an individual, if doing the right thing is the right thing because it kind of hurts your family, and it deals with like a lot of like, and they're not even subtle about it. It's just like they're right there in front of your face. So I
Mhm.
was like, holy shit, this is pretty fucking good. And for a show that's like, as of yet, no one has like these weird power ups or anything. I'm like,
Yeah.
this is pretty good. Like, if you wanted to teach someone about like some actual, and it's actual based in like historical
Yeah, it's
stuff.
historical fiction.
Yeah, so if you wanted to teach somebody something and like teach them like how the ramifications of slavery affects communities and
Mhm.
shit, episode 1 is a good fucking thing to do that with.
I know this is probably a good anime because this is not the first time I've been recommended it.
Okay. Yeah, and I've been watching that, and it's pretty good. And other than that, but like I haven't, like I said, I haven't really been doing too much. But me and my buddy Michael, shout out to the Sanchez Bros.
Mhm.
We hit each other up the other day, and we're like, because we always he does like a lot of like YouTube content creation stuff, and we've always wanted to kind of like do something where we can have like a weekly series together or whatever. And
Mhm.
so the other day, I hit him up. I'm like, hey, there's this Borderlands spin-off game that's on sale. Would you be down to turn that into a series?
Mhm.
And he was like, yeah, actually sounds like a lot of fun. So we've committed to like streaming every Thursday to play this, like it's like a D&D inspired game.
Mhm.
We've committed to doing that every Thursday until we beat the game. So that's also something really cool that I'm looking forward to. Like
Yeah,
every
I did.
Thursday.
And where can people watch that?
People can watch it on twitch.tv/ I'm Joshua Joestar.
Yeah, I saw you guys play it. It looked like fun.
Yeah, it was really cool. It's a Borderlands game, but
Hmm.
just within a D&D world.
It's like a DLC, like side story stuff, right?
Yeah, well, it's its own game. It's like a full price game, but it has nothing to do with the
Oh.
main continuity.
Mhm.
Also, I forgot to mention. I know I've been talking a lot, but we can talk about it a little bit later. I saw Oppenheimer. Um, I
Oppenheimer?
yeah, Oppenheimer, the
It
Oppenheimer,
doesn't I don't think it matters.
and I thought it was okay. I there was a lot of there was a lot of moving plots,
Mhm.
and at some points it kind of felt hard to follow. And then I kind of felt like I was like, am I dumb for not understanding what's going on? But
Mhm.
there was just a lot of things like we could talk about it a little bit later, like after you give your recap. But I forgot to mention that before we record it. But yeah, I saw that, and I think I'm gonna have a lot more fun with Barbie than I did with Oppenheimer. But what about you? How's your week been?
My week's been fine. Nothing really interesting to update on. I kind of realized that August is gonna be my month.
Why? What's going on?
Okay, first of all, Batman Family Adventures, the web comic that's so great, getting published into paper format. Heartstopper Volume 2, another great like queer young romance web comic type thing. Season 2's on Netflix coming. Ahsoka, the first few episodes dropping in August. and Blue Beetle dropping in August. Like I have so many media things that are popping out, and I feel like it's just for me.
Just for you?
Just for me.
You're gonna be the only
No,
one reading them, the only one in the theater.
yeah, they're all gonna flop. Everything's gonna flop. But the thing is, it's just for me though. What's that meme where it's just like, what's the from South Park? It's like the holiday special, and it's like, did you
Oh,
guys enjoy the holiday special? No, Randy, just you. That was my main target, anyways. Like that's all it is. Like no one's gonna watch Ahsoka but me, but it's okay because Ahsoka is just for me. And Blue Beetle, shout out Blue Beetle. I think it's funny. Speaking of the Barbie movie, I saw a tweet earlier that was like Barbie is expected to make between like 300 million to like 350 or something.
hmm.
And then when this like the savior of Warner Brothers Studio, Barbie.
Honestly, yeah.
I think that's very funny. Is Warner Brothers Studio not behind Oppenheimer 2?
I don't. Let me look that up really quick.
Because I feel like it's just a net win for both of them if it is. And it's very funny because people haven't been pitting these movies
That's
against each other.
Universal. Universal
Oh,
Pictures.
it's Universal, gotcha. Because I know people usually like pit movies against each other, but for this time, everyone's just like, yeah, like we gotta wear pink and black, like double feature.
It
Da, da,
was it
da.
was cute because when I showed up to the theater yesterday, I did see a lot of people in pink and like a lot of
Mm,
moms and like their daughters like dressed in like hot pink. So like
mhm.
I was like, oh, this is really cute, you know.
You should have dyed your hair pink again.
I should have, but I'm not committed to doing that for just like one thing.
You gotta dress up since you're saying Oppenheimer. You gotta dress up like a German scientist.
A fucking Nazi.
As a Nazi. Like, oh, I may have killed people, but thanks to Project Paperclip, the U.S. has brought me in.
You know what's funny is that guy's Jewish actually.
Oh my god, is he?
Yeah, see, you would know that
I would not. I
if
didn't
you
watch it.
saw the fucking movie.
I
But you
didn't.
know,
So why are
what's
you
his face is
so
Jewish. The
angered?
guy who invented Captain
Who?
America. You get all up in
Yeah,
arms.
Jack Kirby. Yeah. You know that one time some neo Nazis were pounding at his door and they're here to threaten him, and they're like, "We're gonna beat the shit out of you," and he was like, "All right, let's fucking go. Give me a second." And he went down to his apartment building and they ran away
Yeah.
like fucking cowards. But yeah, that's Jack Kirby. We could talk about Jack Kirby forever, but I'm
We could
good.
talk
I'm
about
just
Oppenheimer forever too.
talking about I could not. It'll just be you talking, and I'll be going, oh, or I'll say stupid shit in my shitty German accent.
But he's not German. He's
I know.
Jewish.
I don't know the
He's a
movie.
Jewish American. The movie
The
explores that.
the Oppenheimer scientist.
Yeah, Robert
Okay, good for
Oppenheimer.
him. Was it his first name's Robert?
It was something like that, yeah.
Okay. Okay. Well, yeah, it's insane. Did you at least think like did you did you feel like did you would you say would you watch it again?
No.
Is what I'm saying. No.
I
Like it doesn't have replayability. You're just like that happened. It was all right. I'm good.
yeah, it's a one-time thing. I'm happy I watched it. I'm really happy I
Mhm.
watched it, but it's just like the it's just there's a lot going on in that movie, so they jump a lot between um when he's like a young student leading
Mhm.
up to the Manhattan Project, then leading to the bomb drop, like the test bomb drop, and then the actual
So
bomb.
it's truly about his life.
Yeah, it follows his life from a young college student till he becomes like the father of the atomic bomb,
Uh-huh.
and but it keeps jumping to this part. I forget who Robert Downey Jr. plays in the movie, but it keeps jumping to this guy, and he's like, Oppenheimer's on court. We gotta find out who's like backstabbing him, this and that. They're trying to sully his
Mhm.
name, blah 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 blah. And it keeps jumping between that and then Oppenheimer in court, and then Oppenheimer as like the flashback, and it catching as it catches up. And there's a lot of moving plots
Mhm.
as everything happens because they introduce so many different people, and a lot of the movies about like communism, about like what we're doing, is it the right thing, stuff like that. And then like they entered like Florence Pugh in the movie, I didn't really feel like was needed. She was just kind of there because in the movie they established
Mhm.
that Oppenheimer is a ladies man, and he's
Mhm.
kind of a piece of shit, and he cheats on his wife a lot and this and that. And they're like, yeah, Florence Pugh is just this young hot girl that he fucks, and that's it. That's really the extent of her plot point
Oh,
of the movie is just to have them fuck, and just to have like she just kind of has her claws in him. That's it. That's really it, you know.
mm-hmm.
But one thing I did like I said, there's a lot of moving plots. But one thing I did like about the movie was that it was very much like the final act of it. Once they're deciding where we're gonna drop the bomb, and there was a specific line in the movie where I was like, "Fuck." They're like, "Okay." The one of the generals is talking, and he's like, "Okay, we decided we're gonna hit. We have it between these 11 places. It was originally gonna be 12, but we removed Kyoto. And for those who are unaware, Kyoto is like one of the oldest cities in Japan. It has a lot of like cultural and historical significance to the Japanese people. And the general was like, "Yeah, it was originally going to be 12, but we took off Kyoto because my wife and I, no, like my wife and I love honeymooning there, and it's such a beautiful place. And plus, it has historical significance, so we're not going to do that." And then that whole line right there, I was like, "Man, you fucking piece of shit!" Like that's like that's what saved him is because you and your
Mm-hmm.
wife go honey. It was just such a vile thing to hear, and
I
and
100% believe that.
so then another part of the movie that I really liked was the explosion was really cool. Like it was really like
Mhm.
they spent the whole like couple minutes just showing the explosion. But it wasn't even the actual nuke, it was like the test drop where like they like miniaturized
Mhm.
it. But another part that I enjoyed was just seeing the moral dilemma of like, holy shit, we built a fucking nuke. Like what have we done? And that's exactly where that's the whole reason why I wanted to watch the movie, because I wanted to see a little bit more behind the scenes of how Oppenheimer dealt with that, with the
Mhm.
ramifications of building a nuke, and like how this is such a bad, ultimately I feel like creating a nuke was more of a bad thing than a good thing. And it, the final act of the movie deals very much with that, where he goes to like, I forget the president at the time, but he goes to the president, and the president
Mhm.
straight up tells him like, nobody gives a shit about you. They're mad at me. I'm the one who pulled the trigger, not you. Stop being a bitch. And then I was like,
Mhm.
damn, like the president's being a savage on him, and and just how creating this nuke puts a target on your back, and in Washington, of how all these people want to come after you. But that like I said, that's the second half of the movie. I mean, that's the final act of the movie. There's like 3 hours of it, and a lot of it I feel like doesn't need to be as long. They deal a lot with like communism, a lot of like individualism, and like the McCarthy era, and a lot of it could have been trimmed down. One of my biggest things too is that like if your movie has to be 3 hours, like come on, bro, you gotta cut some of that, you know.
Mhm.
But it's I would recommend everyone watch it once, because there is some stuff like you can take out of it where it's like, oh shit, you know. But
Mhm.
it's a one time watch. But it's also one of those movies too where you have to be fucking zoned in 100% of the movie.
Yeah.
And I remember too, one of my favorite. It's gonna sound kind of funny. One of my favorite parts of the movie was the ending of the movie, because I had to take a piss so bad, and I was looking around. And I was like, "Fuck, do I got enough time to go use the restroom?" I ended up holding it. I took the best piss of my fucking life after that movie.
Oh my god.
Like it felt great. That was yeah, but that was actually probably one of the standout parts for me too. But anyways, Oppenheimer. I
Would you
think
recommend it?
not really, unless you're kind of a big history buff,
Mhm.
and you're like someone like me, like who really likes World War II and stuff. Oh yeah, that's another thing too. So obviously the movie takes place during World War II, and the war isn't even really, it's hardly even mentioned throughout the movie, which I find kind of dumb, because it's you would imagine like when you think of a movie that takes place during World War II, World War II almost kind of becomes like a character of itself, right? Wouldn't you say so?
Mhm.
Even if the movie isn't about World War II, but it's like a time period,
Yeah.
it's really not even like that, because there's parts of the movie where they're like, oh yeah, we've just invaded this and that, Pearl Harbor just happened, and then they just kind of carry on with the movie, or they're like the Nazi scientists have split the atom, and you're like, oh shit, okay, now we got to do this. But it's kind of just there. And then there's a part of the movie too where it's like, yeah, the war in Europe's over. Hitler killed himself. Let's go back to studying. I'm like, wait, hold on. When the fuck did that happen? Like, what year is this now? You know?
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's kind of a big deal, like in the whole grand scheme of things. And so that was another part too. It was just like the war just kind of felt like it was there, and that, like
Uh-huh.
every like 30 minutes, they're like, oh yeah, we got to kind of remind people this is a World War II piece.
Would you say that you have to so there are people that don't know really their history, and I'm not gonna blame them for that. But would you
I
say
will.
you'd have to know do you say you'd have to know like would you have to have a general grasp on what went on in World War II to better understand the movie, or do you feel like it kind of lays it out? Or like you're saying, it's mostly just background stuff and you have to like pick up on
It's just background stuff for the most part.
it?
I think the only things you really got to know is that like communism was on the rise during World War II.
Mhm.
It wasn't illegal just yet, and how like the FBI was keeping tabs on people, and the McCarthy era.
Mhm.
Those are the things you
The
gotta.
entire president era of the McCarthy.
Yeah, on it. No, because that plays a big part in the movie, and you gotta know that because they talk a
Mhm.
lot about all that stuff and like your loyalty to America, this and that, and because a big thing that happens in that movie is that they tell him like, are you loyal, this and that, because you were part of the Communist Party, your brother was part of the Communist Party, this and that. But yeah, you have to understand just a basic idea of like, ideally, if you fucking graduated high school, you should understand the basic premise of
Mhm.
this movie.
I think culture is just like anthropology is so interesting just simply because like
The
you
study of
look
the
at
human.
yeah, you look at the time periods and you look at something like then and it's just like, oh, you have to be a patriot. You have to push that. It's cool to be a patriot. It's like exciting. You're like, oh, I serve my country. Yep. And nowadays, like kids will joke about like tearing down the system and it being corrupt. And it's like cool to be like, fuck that. And it's just like the waves of in and out.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if there was another war that happened, would people still be the same? Would they still be pro America, or would it be more reminiscent of Vietnam, where there was a huge like anti-war backlash? So it's just so interesting to see like periods of time in America and people that are involved in just world history. So it sounds interesting. But I'm gonna instead of all that, I'm gonna go watch Margot Robbie wear pink condense.
Mm-hmm.
So that's probably that's more my vibes, but Oppenheimer does sound
like
fun.
like there was one of the final lines of the movie that I appreciated was with Einstein, where he's talking to Oppenheimer, and he's like, dude, like if this is how your nation is treating
That's
you.
what he says. Dude, if this is how the nation
Yeah,
is treating you.
he's like if this is how the nation is treating you after you like did the greatest thing humanity has ever achieved, fucking leave. It's not worth
Mhm,
it. He's like, that's why I left my homeland. And Oppenheimer's
mhm.
like, no, I fucking love America, this and that. And he's like, okay, well, if you love America, just know that they're gonna treat you like shit. They're gonna try to say they're eventually they're gonna forgive you, and they're gonna say all is forgiven. You're their friends. They're gonna shake your hands, but just know none of that's for you. That's for them. They're trying to make themselves feel better, and the
Yeah,
damage has already been done. Your name has been sullied, and you're never gonna achieve the same status that you once had. And that's
that's
how
fucking
and that's
crazy.
essentially how the movie ends, is like everyone forgiving him, and he's like this old man, everyone's shaking his hand, and then it cuts to his wife, and his wife doesn't want to shake any of their hands.
Mhm,
But yeah, like I said, there were some parts of the movie that were genuinely good. Like there's a lot of parts that were genuinely good, but it's just too long, just way too long.
mhm. You know what? That movie didn't have enough shirtless Ryan Gosling. If
Yeah,
if he just
but
popped up,
it
it
had
would have saved that whole
shirtless
movie.
Florence Pugh three
You
times.
know what? Honestly, I'm good with that. I'm happy. I'm not gonna complain.
Three times you see her naked.
It's just pointless. It's just like I am
I would
naked.
I would kind of say her being naked in the movie is kind of pointless, just because it doesn't. It's just just you want to see her naked.
Mhm.
That's your movie too.
I have a bit of a hot take that might not be popular. I don't really care for like sex scenes in like movie and TV.
Okay, that's good to know.
Like I don't I just no, it's just like I get like someone like they throw each other into bed and it's like you're showing the romance, but I don't need to see like I don't know. I don't need to see more. Like more than 30 seconds banging on the screen is like too much for me.
Oh no, I agree with you on that. It's not like it's not like straight like fucking porn,
Uh-huh.
but it's like it's it's softcore porn. I don't know how else to say it.
Yeah.
I agree. When it goes on a lot longer than it needs to, I'm like, okay, buddy, we fucking get it. I'm not watching porn at this point.
Yeah. It's like, okay, I get it. You're banging a hot chick. Like I get it. I understand.
Hmm. And I feel like
But
too with this Oppenheimer thing, I may be the odd man out
mm-hmm.
because like I've seen a lot of people online say like, oh, this is like the greatest movie ever, this and that, blah blah blah. And, there's a lot of good parts to it, but I just felt like too many moving parts. It jumps in between different time periods a little too much.
Mm-hmm.
The ending does have a little bit of a twist, but I think it could have been a lot shorter. I don't think it needed to be a 3 hour movie.
Yeah.
I enjoyed
Like it,
Tenet a lot more than this one.
which one is Tenet again?
That was the one that with like they travel through time and like they're in like the mirror world.
I don't think I watched that
That's the
one.
one with Robert Pattinson and they crashed the plane.
No, I didn't watch that one.
Oh, but you watched the Batman, didn't you, huh?
Yeah, that was a fun film.
But no, watch Tenet. Tenet's good. I enjoyed Tenet a lot. That
S-
was his last movie that came out, I believe.
okay. I've heard of it. I've definitely heard of it. I've just never watched it.
I definitely enjoyed that one right there.
So after watching Oppenheimer, your review is to go watch Tenet instead.
No, 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 no. That's not my
Okay.
thing. I'm saying this. Watch it once for sure. If you're like
Mhm,
everyone, I think this is a movie everyone needs to watch at least one time, whether you like
mhm,
it or not. I feel like, and also too, it's one of those movies you need to like be focused in on because it does have a lot of like significance to it.
mhm.
After you watch it that one time, after you feel some kind of emotion, you don't need to go back. That's it.
Yeah,
And
I believe
probably
it.
yeah, like if you're gonna watch it in the theater, just make sure you fucking go pee or use the restroom before the movie starts.
Mhm.
But yeah, that was enough about Oppenheimer, But I know a lot. This isn't the only thing that really kind of came out of this weekend because Comic Con is happening,
Which
and
is so interesting because this is a Comic Con largely without studios.
yeah, before the strikes even took place, studios were pulling out left and right, which kind of like
Mhm,
makes you think like, did they know the strike was gonna happen already? Because we're
mhm.
like, was the writing on the wall?
Yeah, like do they see it coming and they're like, okay, we might as well pull out.
Yeah, was it that or was it I say like the E3 ramification where it's like in a sense where E3 was like for the big gaming expo where all the game studios would go and then all the individual studios realized, damn, it's a lot cheaper to do my own thing rather than just pay all this money and go to E3.
Mhm,
So I wonder if it was one or the other. If like the studios were like, it's a lot cheaper just to have my own event, have a pop up shop like in like a
mhm.
couple different major cities, this and that. It's a lot. We control the message rather than going to Comic Con.
Yeah, like they don't have to share space; they have their own day.
Exactly, exactly. So
Which
I wonder if which one's the case.
Uh-huh. Which is interesting because DC has like Fandom and there's D23 and there's just like all they have their stuff now. So it's like it's almost not even necessary, which I think is kind of cool simply because we got like so much comic news, like comic books and video games and not as much TV stuff because a lot of the writers and actors are kind of boycotting it, but a lot of comic stuff, which is exciting, a lot of animation stuff, so that's I think that's pretty cool. It's like Comic Con a little bit returning to its roots.
Yeah, that's what I'm happy about. Give it back to the
Mhm.
old heads.
Like part of the reason I like LA Comic Con is because it's smaller. It's more about like comics and collectibles and stuff. And if San Diego Comic Con would slowly turn into something like that, I'd be down for it.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
But is there anything that you saw that you think is interesting?
I saw the Spider-Man trailer.
Hmm.
That one was really good. There hasn't really been too much, just because, like I said, nothing really has been kind of catching my eye. Going back
Mm-hmm.
to, we talked about this off the air. Like, I'm very kind of particular on what I read for comics, just because
Mm-hmm.
I'm quickly running out of space for starters, and
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to be spending like more than, 12 bucks, $10 uh, a week at a comic book shop.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm very particular on what I read, and
Same.
I mainly keep it to, I'm definitely gonna read Red Hood comics, and I'm definitely gonna read Daredevil comics, and then maybe I'll read the mainline event here and there.
Yeah, like I totally get that. Like I really honestly, my limit for comics a month is 3, maybe 4.
Okay, yeah, so you're more or less in the same boat with me. And
Mm-hmm.
then mangas, I only read. There's only 3 mangas I read. I read Chainsaw Man, Spy X Family, and Zom 100. Those are the only 3 mangas I read. And
Mm-hmm.
so, but going back to the question you asked me, the one thing I did like was Spider Man, because just kind of watching that trailer solidified it as like a day one purchase for me.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was like, okay, this looks like a lot of fun. I like how it was something we already knew based off of the context of the game, but Harry is obviously Venom. That I think that's a cool little twist. I do like the idea of both Spider-Man, well, Peter and Miles being a little unhinged. I think that's a cool thing right there, because in the trailer it was very much focused around Venom, but you see some parts where Miles is talking to Mr. Negative and he's like, "You killed my dad," and then you see fucking Peter being, black suit Peter. So
Mm-hmm.
I like that idea with both of them kind of like off the rails a bit, and like eventually they're gonna find their way back. But it's the question of
I
how do
really
they
think
find their
it's
way
just gonna
back?
be I really just think it's gonna be Peter that's I think Miles is gonna be angry, but I think it's really gonna be Peter that's gonna be unhinged.
Yeah, hmm I agree with you on that too.
Mhm.
Like it, I think that Miles may just have a moment or two, but he'll catch himself in the moment. Whereas Peter is like, fuck all
Mhm.
this, I'm gonna go full ape shit.
Yeah, which is interesting because we really I hope they do a good job making us really care about Harry and Peter's friendship because Harry Osborn was very much an afterthought in the original game. Like
Not really.
he was some side missions and we didn't really he
I
wasn't like forefront of anything.
I always thought his presence was very known in the game, because
Like
they always talked about him. Like
it
whenever,
was known, but it wasn't necessary.
I gotta disagree with you on that one. I
Mhm.
think his presence was always there in the game, because it was like, man, I wish I could call Harry right now, or this and that. Like they always brought him up every chance they could. And
Not
then
every chance they could. Like he was brought up, but not every chance.
yeah, he was brought up a lot in the game. And then there was even a whole side missions to where
Well,
like,
I just said that like he had some side missions, but he wasn't like essential.
but he was essential to the game, like because they made it a whole point to explain why he wasn't there. And every time Peter would call MJ, like there was
Not
a
every
not,
time.
but there was a good chunk of times where they talked about him. Like he was talked about a lot in the game, and like how much they miss him. And Peter would be like, "Man, Harry would know what to say in this situation."
I don't think he ever said that.
Yes, he did.
Maybe for a side
Motherfucker, I
mission.
just played the game not too long ago. How you gonna tell me?
I'm just giving my opinion.
No,
Relax. It's just pixels.
I
I've
think
been wanting to say that to someone for a very long time, so thank you. Just say it's just pixels. Relax. You're acting out of control.
but
But if you took him out of the game, it wouldn't make a difference. Like he's there, he definitely has a presence, but I'm interested in seeing them like really establish that relationship more.
yeah.
Is what I'm trying to say.
Okay, I apologize,
No, it's okay.
but I'm excited to see what they do with him,
Hmm.
and how they're gonna juggle between him and Craven. And
Hmm.
eventually, it's because it's just the way it goes. Venom isn't necessarily a bad guy, and I wonder how they're gonna deal with Venom kind of becoming like a neutral, like an anti-hero, if you will.
I have a sneaking suspicion that they're gonna do this thing where it's gonna be Harry that's Venom, and then after a while Peter's gonna take it on or something like that. I feel like it's gonna be some big thing like that where he takes it and he also becomes a Venom type thing. I think that'd be interesting.
Well,
You know
yeah,
what
I
I'm trying
think
to say?
that's what's gonna. I think that's exactly what's gonna happen, because because as of right now, Harry has the symbiote, but then once you play the
Mhm.
game, somehow, some way, Peter's gonna get it, and then somehow, some way, it's gonna go back to Harry. Because if you look at the screenshots and like the concept art, you see the spider, on Venom.
Oh yeah, I'm just excited because it looks the open world looks even more open. I can't wait to repetitively swing into new places,
Hmm.
and it looks exciting.
Yeah,
I can't wait to watch you stream it.
that was one thing I really enjoyed about the game too, is that even though it's very repetitive, it's like, oh, stop the mugging, do that, do this. It never felt repetitive, you know?
Yeah, it never gets old.
Yeah, exactly. It never got old. But my question is now, how are you going to improve upon this? Because you can't
Hmm.
you can't have the same thing twice in one game. You just can't. And
Hmm.
I wonder how they're gonna tweak it. They're gonna adjust it. So that's my question right there.
Uh, an old YouTuber who I forget that's Australian once said that the sign of a good sequel is that it takes what works about the first game and expands and adds to it.
Exactly.
So hopefully it takes what already really works and it adds more stuff. I want more Venom based ability, Venom Blast. I want Peter to get a couple more moves, maybe different suits, more gadgets. So it'll be exciting.
I do like how they made all of them look, but
Hmm.
it's so weird how there's like three different iterations of Peter now, and they all look insanely different from the last.
I thought I saw a funny tweet where it was like, the new Peter looks like if they morphed the old and the new Peter together. I thought that was
Yeah,
funny.
like they gotta stop changing the way. Like you don't have to do that, you know. Just
Mhm.
I'm cool if you use the same face model and just age it up just a teeny weeny bit, you know. Like you don't got
Mhm.
to do all that crazy shit. Like that's one thing that kind of bugs me right there. Is like they feel the need to drastically change the characters because MJ doesn't even look like MJ anymore. They all look entirely different. The only one that gets a pass is Miles, is because he's young, and like when you're young, you go through dramatic changes within a relatively quick
Mhm.
period.
And the thing about Miles is that I still feel like he kind of has the same face though.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone,
But MJ and Peter just look like different
they look
people
like
because they got
straight
big
up
masks.
different people, and I'm just like, bro, was that really necessary? You know?
Mhm. MJ's haircut is weird. I know that's a nitpick, but I don't care for it.
Nah, I think she looks a little bit more hot in this one.
Do you think so?
I think so. I think she looks pretty hot. But
Maybe I was more into like the girl next door reporter woman in the first one, but
nah, also too, she's kind of annoying in the. I don't like MJ I've said this before. I don't like MJ as a character. I'm excited to see my girl Black Cat. I wonder how they make her look.
is she? Oh yeah, because she's supposed to be in it too. I think
She's gonna have a presence in it one way or
she
another.
better be in it. Mm.
You want me to tweet at Erica Lambert for you?
Please don't. I will cry.
I'm like, hey, yo, what's up, Erica? My boy wants to say something to you.
I'll be like, hey, have you read the Jed McKay run on Black Cat? It's really fucking good. But instead of Black Cat, I say Catwoman. I just embarrass myself.
But I know that wasn't really the only thing that kind of came out of Comic Con.
Mm.
I was surprised that it was in Hall H just because it was a game. And
Mm-hmm.
but then again, they didn't have like that was probably the closest thing they could get to a movie.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but
Plus, Spider Man is a big draw. No matter in what format, Spider Man's always a big pull.
exactly. And fuck, the Invincible dropped and a couple other things I know you wanted to talk
Mm.
about.
Invincible season 2 is coming out November. I haven't watched it because as of this recording, it came out last night. But Adam Eve got her own special, which is cool because I liked her character in the first season.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, it's kind of funny because her powers is like rearrange and form molecules, and I feel like she's always just blasting shit.
Yeah,
And I'm just like, even in the comics, she's always just blasting shit, and I'm kind of just like, we can be a bit more creative with this. Come on, let's do some. Let's instead of just being like a Green Lantern type person, let's have her do cool stuff.
I am
So that,
excited for this though, but it's just my thing is like it's taking too long, you know.
mm-hmm.
And then, did you see the trailer for Invincible season 2?
I did.
And now they're treating like Invincible as a bad guy.
Well, that is a thing that kind of happens.
And I was like, damn, that sucks. Like I literally just watched the trailer before we started recording. I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, why are you being an asshole to my boy Mark? He literally saved all you guys. He was the only one. Granted, he got his ass beat, but he was the only one who like stood a fucking chance against Omni Man.
Mm-hmm.
And this is how you guys repay him? Like, that's fucked up.
I will not be like enemy of the pod, Jake, who does spoil shit. So I won't say anything more. But I will say, life. He's always a good guy. I would never say he's a bad guy. He's always a good guy. Mark always tries his best, but we just get those complicated ass situations where it's like you're trying to do good, but bad shit's happening, and it's a whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I won't get into it, but yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they adapt from the comics and how they adapt.
And we were talking about it a little bit the other day, but
Mhm.
I saw that they're gonna do like a multiversal thing, but that's actually what happens in the comics.
Yeah, but I liked what you pointed out is that like with all the multiversal stuff, it just feels kind of tired, even if it's true to the comics.
Yeah, so that's what I wasn't too sure. I'm like, are you like chasing a trend or what's happening?
Hmm.
Now, answer me this: does it get like murky when they start doing that, or is it good?
I think it's pretty good. It doesn't like it's more so just like visiting other universes and stuff like that. It doesn't really. I feel like if you skipped those arcs in the comics, you'd actually be fine. So I think it's just a story they want to tell.
Okay, okay, because if it's something kind of like Injustice, like the video games, where like they're like, oh, we got to travel to the other universe to get like the good Superman to fight the
Yeah,
bad Superman.
I would say it'd be like that because honestly, nothing is really affecting the good universe. It's just more so helping out another.
Okay, okay,
So I'd
okay,
say it's similar to that. I would say similar vein.
okay. That's cool. That's cool. That's cool. But
Hmm.
I'm excited nonetheless for for season 2 of Invincible. But it just god damn if this didn't take so fucking long to get out.
Yeah, it's been a hot minute. When was the first season?
I'll look that up right now. Keep
But I
keep chatting.
know they were taking a really long time on the animation. I think it's a upgraded quality, which is excited because I
Invincible
really.
aired
Mhm.
March 25th, 2021. So about two
Oh, it's only
years.
been like 2 years.
That's a long
Relax.
time.
How long did you wait for Attack on Titan?
That's different. That's totally different. I don't like no. Okay, you can't use Attack on Titan's
Just have some
excuse.
patience.
No, 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 no. Because
Animation takes
it takes a year.
time.
It's a year turnaround rate. That's the industry standard. Year turnaround
This
rate.
is this is what they're fighting for, Lewis. For
Bro, I don't give
breaks.
a fuck what they're fighting for.
It was like, I just want my animation. Get it together. Get the
Yeah,
fuck out of the industry.
yeah, but it just took way too long. Like, fuck. 2 years is a long time for another season.
We're so fucking spoiled these
What you
days.
mean?
Like back in the day when we were kids, you'd get like one superhero property like once a
Yeah,
year,
when
maybe.
when it was like fucking 2000,
Yeah,
and
that's what
there
I'm saying. We're so spoiled.
no things have gotten better.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's bad. I'm saying we're all spoiled now because we get stuff all the
Shut up, you
time.
fucking grandpa. All right, back
I
in my day,
was
we
like,
used to shut
back
your ass
in,
up.
back in my day, all we got was a Fantastic Four, the last video you had to find on YouTube.
And you have to watch it in 3 parts.
Yeah, you had to watch it in like 18 parts, and each part's 2 minutes. You remember that when you had to watch stuff on YouTube and it was like part one of 57 and it was like 2 minutes
And then you
30.
couldn't find like part 3, and you just jumped like to part
Yeah.
5.
Yeah. Like there'd be a playlist, but half the videos were taken down, so you have to like jump around. Fucking kids these days will never know.
I mean, they already do that with TikTok.
That's true. Part 7 of how am I 58 meters a bad guy for punching a baby?
I've seen
And then
full
it's
on
like,
movies on TikTok. Like
yeah.
I've seen parts of like Spider-Man.
Mhm,
Let's see what else. Just random at like a whole account devoted to like here's part
mhm.
55 of this. I'm like, God damn, there's like full movies broken up on here.
I used to follow. I don't watch it anymore because they changed shows. But I used to follow a TikTok account that just showed episodes of Daria.
The fuck is Daria?
You never seen Daria?
Nah.
It's like, oh, when you watch it, you're gonna be like, oh, this show is why Noah's annoying. Like you're gonna watch it and be like, oh, this says so much.
I doubt
It's
I'm
it's
gonna
like
toss it just to one show alone.
it's a it's a strangely enough, it's kind of a Beavis and Butthead spinoff where it's like a deadpan, sarcastic girl goes to a town and she just has adventures. It's just I enjoy it.
You know what? I'm happy for you.
Thank you.
I'm happy you enjoy it. Okay.
I do enjoy it. Thank you. I appreciate that you're happy for me.
I'm not really. It's just something you say to be cordial.
It's just that's just something you say to end the conversation. Like, oh, I love that for you. See you later, and then you
Yeah,
walk away.
that's exactly what it is. But enough about Invincible. Are you excited? But wait, really quick before we go, are you excited
Hmm.
about Invincible though?
I'm very excited about Invincible. I can't wait to see what they do. Uh, yeah, that's all I'm gonna say.
And is there anything else you want to talk about? I know you're like you have such a boner for Ahsoka.
I do, but I'll save my boner for later. For when we get closer to Ahsoka. I watched the One Piece trailer for Netflix,
Uh huh.
and I'm weirdly into it. I'm kind of into it.
I have not watched the anime, and I have no interest in watching the movie.
The thing is, these I kind of wonder if any live action of any anime is always doomed to fail simply because like anime and manga are such like stylistic forms of art that when you add them to like live action, there's always something lost in translation. Like if you try to recreate like a page from a manga, like a really stunning page in like animation or in live action, there's just something lost, and it's just really hard to execute that. So I kind of wonder if we should just stop live action adaptations altogether. Either that, because if you try something new, then people are like, "Oh, it's not like the manga," and it's just like, yeah, it's not like the manga because you can't adapt the manga because the manga's so special. Like,
Yeah.
have you ever like? Are there any live action anime adaptations that you like?
No, none that I can think of.
I can't think of anything
It
like
just
at all.
it's doomed to fail. I don't know why people keep trying to do it. A high budget, low budget, whether it be on like something as big as Netflix or something as small as like
Mhm.
TikTok or YouTube. I don't think it's really good.
Like the only thing I can maybe think of is Alita Battle Angel. But the thing is, I've never read the manga for Alita Battle Angel, so I
I
don't
didn't
know
even
if
know that
it's
was an anime. So like months
yeah.
later.
A long time ago, I said it was like a basic, like it was fine, like it wasn't anything special. I posted like a minute review on YouTube just for fucks, and it got like so many dislikes, and a lot of people were angry in the comments. It's very funny.
I'm happy. I'm happy that happened to you.
I know it helped humble me. uh, so yeah, we'll see. I'll watch it. Fuck, why not? The early days of One Piece is actually really special to me. I lost track a long time ago simply because there's so much of it, but like the early days really do hit a different way.
How so?
So, well, because you look at One Piece now and it's just so expansive and big and there's so many characters. But early days of One Piece, it's very much like four or five characters. The stories are very much smaller because, like, in the later stories, it's like fucking taking down the government and starting revolutions. And in early One Piece, it's like, we gotta save this town from this bad pirate. And it's just, you don't have the complex like anime fights. It's just like these people with sets of skills and they fight. And it's just rather it's more simplistic, I think.
Okay.
It's before things get messy. And I you know what? I haven't read recent One Piece, so maybe I could just be a fucking asshole about it and not know how good it is, but it's just seeing the early days, it appeals to me. So yeah, that's all I got to
I no, I really got noticed just because I
say.
never really cared about it. It's just I think
Mhm,
I'm not gonna deny that it's not good. I mean, I've never watched it, so I can't really speak on it.
mhm.
But if it's been going as long as it has to be good, right?
I because when I was little, I watched a lot of, like, Fox Kids
I thought you were gonna say
or,
Fox News.
no, Fox News. That's why I'm the way I am. But no, a lot of Fox Kids that later turned to WB Kids. And I don't know if you heard of the famous like WB Kids dubbing.
Yeah,
And it's so One Piece was one of those animes that they showed. And there used to be this magazine that was distributed in the US called Shonen Jump, which was like a big manga magazine that had like 8 different mangas in it, and they'd have like one chapter per magazine. So you'd have to collect the magazines. And whenever me and my dad would go grocery shopping and we went to like Ralph's or whatever, they'd have like a new magazine out and I'd pick it up.
that's
And One
cute.
Piece was one of the yeah, and One Piece was one of those mangas that came in it. So I would like watch the anime and then I'd read the manga. and I used to have a bunch of them. I don't know where they are now. They're probably thrown away, but it's just like it's very nostalgic. So I think I'm gonna be watching this because of the nostalgia. I'll be like, I'll see how they do.
I know at Anime Expo they had like a big presence there. Like they had big
Mhm.
banners. Like as soon as you walk into the convention center, like right outside, they had a big One Piece banner. 'Cause that's
Mhm.
like when the teaser trailer dropped. It's so funny that we live in an age now where there's a trailer for the trailer. And
Yeah.
but yeah, a lot of people seem to be talking about it. I'm happy for them. Will I watch it? Probably not, because I felt like going back to what you're saying about adaptations. Death Note is such an easy anime to adapt to, like to convert
Mhm.
into live action. I feel like if there was gonna be one, it'd be Death Note.
Mhm.
But they somehow managed to fuck that up royally. So I don't know how they're gonna do One Piece. I hope it's good. Everyone on the team looks like they're like they have heart. So
Mhm.
I'm rooting for it. I'm rooting for it, but I'm not expecting much. You know.
Yeah, I feel the same. I'm rooting for it, although I don't expect much.
Hmm. Anything else you want to talk about that's coming out of Comic Con right now?
Oh my gosh, I could talk about I have all my links up. Fun fact, Titans, I want to talk about it, but we're running out of time. There's gonna be an event called Titans Beast World, starring Beast Boy. There's some
Catch your
bad
breath.
guy.
Catch your breath.
I don't just I'm flustered. Beast Boy is gonna have to turn into a Starro like creature to like defeat the bad guy. But turning into that, he like loses his conscience split into so many things, like it fucks him up. And I just think it's so interesting how the writer Tom Taylor seems to be obsessed with this idea that Beast Boy is like essential to the Titans, when in my opinion, he's really not. He's
Yeah.
always just kind of been there. And it's
He's
funny
just
because
trying
there's
to he's just trying to
Mhm.
pipe Raven. That's his whole
He's
goal.
just and, I'll never forget my first comic, was Teen Titans by Jeff Johns back in, like, 2003 or something, and, Wonder Girl, who's, like, maybe 16, Cassie Sandsmark, little blonde girl, shows up to the Titans tower with Starfire, and Beast Boy shows up, and he's just like, "Oh, hello, ladies," like 2000s lady man, and he's like, "Oh, Miss Sandsmark is here. Shall I show her to my room?" And I'm just like, "You're in college. She's 16. Get away from her, you fucking weirdo. Like, what the fuck's wrong with you?" And the thing is, like, he also, like, hits on Starfire, but obviously it's a joke.
Uh-huh.
And then it's just fucking weird. So, like, ever since then, I've just never liked Beast Boy in the comics. Like, Teen Titans Go, Titans, Young Justice, everywhere else he's great. It's just the comics. I don't care for Beast Boy. So that event is coming in November. I I'm just like, "Okay, I guess so." Like, alright. Like, "Okay, I guess we're doing this."
And is this gonna be like a mainline DC event?
Yeah, it says, this article that was there says, "This Dawn of DC event will be the first crossover that heavily features the Titans and heavily ties into Tom Taylor's current ongoing series, Titans and Nightwing," so I guess it might.
I feel like they're giving Tom Taylor a little too much power right now.
Yeah,
Uh,
honestly, I'm tired of Nightwing.
you are?
I am. It's
Why? I
taking
thought I
forever.
thought you love it.
I gave up on it. It's just because it takes forever to like, I'm just like, "Okay, I get it." Like, they keep putting out gimmick issues that are fun, but I want them to get back to the main plot of fighting this bad guy Heartless, and it's this whole thing that I feel like that it's like if it was an anime, we're going back to anime. If it was an anime, it would just be like so much filler, and I'm just like, "I'm enjoying the filler, but let's get back to the plot."
Okay, okay, that makes sense.
That would be that's how I would interpret it. But yeah, that's all I really have to say.
Huh.
Do you have any other last words?
No, I'm just trying to think. Like, I just think Tom Taylor. It's one of those things where he has his finger in too many pies. You
Mhm.
know?
He's doing too much at
Yeah,
once.
because he has Nightwing. He has Deceased. Well, Deceased is done now, isn't it?
Mhm. Yeah,
Okay.
he
Yeah,
has, John Kent Superman.
that's right. So he has Nightwing, Superman. He
Mhm,
has Dark Knight of Steel and
mhm.
Titans. He's doing like four fucking runs at what, and up until now, Deceased. So he was doing like 5 runs all at once. I'm like, bro, you gotta pump the brakes a little bit, you know?
Yeah,
Because I like
if
him.
you're,
I think
Mhm.
he makes some really good stories of like all the ones I've read.
I like him on Elseworld stuff.
I never read his mainline continuity, so I'm gonna just take your
Mhm.
word on it.
Well, like stuff like Deceased and
Yeah,
Knights. Like
I do like
else.
Deceased and I do like Knights a lot.
He reminds me of Scott Lobdell, who like during the New 52, like 2011, Scott Lobdell did Superman, Superboy, Teen Titans, Red Hood and the Outlaw. Like he was doing 4 things at once.
Fuck.
And I'm just like, man, why the fuck are you doing so much shit, Scott? Also, I have a lot of opinions about your writing. It's just a whole thing.
When
I'm
are
gonna
you
meet Scott Lobdell and fight
when are
him.
you gonna start sending your pitches to DC and all that?
Uh, if, I'm manifesting they come to me.
That's not gonna
So like
happen.
I'm just like, come to me, DC. And then
Why?
one day they're gonna show up to my door and it's gonna be Tom Taylor and he's gonna be on his knees and they say, I don't know what to do about the Titans. They just gave me the job. I don't know what to do. And it's like, oh Tommy, I got you.
You
And then
know,
he's gonna give me Titans
for as
and
much as you bag on
Revelation.
South Park,
Mhm.
your imagination is very South Park.
You know what? I don't bag on it. I'm just kind of I'm very neutral on South Park, but I grew up with a lot of South Park.
You just described a South Park fucking episode right there. Like someone's going to Mr. Garrison. I'm sorry. Like, let me see what I can do. You know, that's
Oh yeah, like when they do the egg project.
yeah. You literally
And
just
Carmen,
described the South Park episode.
you know what? Fucking South Park should hire me.
When you gonna hit up Trey Parker, Matt Stones? I think that's
I'm gonna hit them up, and my first pitch is gonna be to kill Randy Marsh. I fucking hate Randy.
no. You're wrong. It's okay to
You see,
be wrong.
that's why I can't write for them because I hate Randy a lot.
You hate one of the main characters that drives the show.
Yeah. See, they made a lot of the show about him because every once in a while he'd get like a one-off episode. Like he was a big player for a lot of it, but like there's been whole seasons that revolve around him. And I like the character in like small doses. But if the whole season revolves around his shit, I just get really fucking tired. So I don't like him.
But you know what? I'm pretty sure
He's a horrible father and
people
a
don't
bad.
like us and they're tired of our shit, so we should probably do a sign off now.
We probably should before I get into another rant about Randy Marsh.
All right. Well, Noah, where can people find you?
Oh my gosh, they can find me at Noah is Garcia on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, and Threads. You can
I think
also
Threads
follow
died.
Did it? I still have the app, whatever. I haven't posted it in like a week. It's fine. You can follow my photography on Noah Garcia _photography on Instagram. And DC, if you're listening, I have a Titans East story. I can always pitch it to you. So someone hit me up. And also,
What if they say no to your pitch? What are you gonna do? You've been hyping up this pitch for forever.
I'm gonna beat the shit out of them.
That's it.
That's it. But Lewis, where can people find you?
People can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Luis Gutierrez. If you Google my name, Luis Joshua Gutierrez, you'll find links to both of my works at IGN and GameSpot.com. And you can follow me on Twitch at twitch.tv/I'm Joshua Joestar, where I stream almost every day of the week. But yeah, that's enough about that. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you all for watching. If you've made it this far, please be sure to leave us a good review. Noah, what's their homework for the week?
Their homework for the week is to watch the anime Death Parade.
That's a good one. I like the opening a lot.
It's a lot of fun. When someone dies, they're sent to
there's a Death Note Easter egg in that.
Is there?
Yeah, one of the characters they're dealing with is Light Yagami, and they don't know what to do with them, and he's like sitting in a corner. They don't explicitly say it, but it's him, and it's the same studio who animated Death Note too.
Oh, good for them. It's like an afterworld bar, and it's a lot of fun. But Lewis, what's their homework?
My homework for you guys is to go, and I need you to go. And just get out of here.
Leave. Go home. We don't want you here anymore.
Yeah, that's it. Later.
Goodbye.